All right, what's going on, fam? We are back once again for the Dream Coach Pod, episode number 4. Let's go. We rolling, rocking and rolling. And today I have a good friend who I recently met actually in Dallas. Some of y'all are who have been listening to the other pods. You know, you're probably at this point like, Chris, you should just move to Dallas because that's where everybody's at. um,
Um,
but my friend David. David, welcome to, is it Leonty? Is that how you pronounce it?
yes, Leontes.
Leonty. Okay, cool. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the pod. Glad to have you here, man. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. It's a blessing to be here. I appreciate the invite. And you actually said the
Yeah.
last name correct. Most people butcher it in ways you can't even imagine. So I
Oh
appreciate
man, what do they say? Leo
Lindsay,
Lenti.
Leonte,
Leon.
Linody. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
Lenoti is out.
yeah,
Yeah, that's something else.
I've heard so many different types of variations, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, bro. So, dude, talk to us a little bit. What are you doing currently, man, in terms of online business, online entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk us a little bit about where you're at now, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, so I just purchased my very first cleaning business. It's called Leontes Cleaning Services.
Mm,
It's been quite the headache to get started up because you have to get approved on Google, have to get the
mm,
website up, have to train and hire VAs.
mm-hmm,
It's been a pretty difficult process at the start, but I mean everything is starting to come together. And this is like my
mm-hmm.
first business that I'm really getting into, So
Yeah, got
um,
you.
yeah, it's been pretty cool so far.
Cool, man. Cool. So you got that going on. I know that you're also involved in online sales. Can you talk to
Yes.
me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm a closer. I've been closing for this is my 5th month now. I was an appointment setter
Mm,
before. Didn't really
mm-hmm,
think that closing was really possible for me for about another year because you hear the
mm.
stories of you have to be closing for or setting for a while before you jump into it.
Yeah.
Um,
Before we even get there, because there's somebody probably listening who's like, I don't know what setting is. I don't know what closing is. I don't know what you're talking about. So if you
yeah,
could maybe break it down for somebody who has never heard of this before,
yeah, of
maybe give
course.
some context.
So you have your business owners that are like running some type of offer, whether it be an info product or something that people are interested in.
Mm,
As a setter, your main job is to qualify the leads that they bring in through running ads or
mm,
through word of mouth, and you set them up on the closer's calendar. So like you're qualifying them, making sure that they could potentially be a good fit. They
mm-hmm,
get set up on a closer's calendar who closes the deals and gets the people into the business that the business owner has, whether that
mm-hmm,
offers info or whatever that is specifically. So
mm-hmm.
setter's like the first line of contact.
Got you. So yeah, maybe just to add more a little bit to that, like what people usually do is run ads to either a website or to an Instagram page or a YouTube page or whatever it is. Well, usually a platform where there's an ability to have messaging, right?
Mhm.
At least in our case, right? And in our case, Instagram is a big way to communicate with people. So running an ad to an Instagram page, right, where you're saying, hey, follow me to learn more about how to sell stuff on Amazon, or follow me to learn more about how you can become an online coach, or how
Yeah.
you can break free from an addiction, whatever it is, right? People have
Mhm.
different offers. Coaches coach in different areas, but
Yeah.
essentially what they'll do is run an ad to their page
Mhm.
in order to basically talk more in depth, in order to demonstrate their knowledge, their expertise a little bit more through their content. And a
Exactly.
setter, right, or an appointment setter is someone who in the DMs will have conversations with people that are starting to follow the page,
Mhm.
and basically getting them onto a call, a scheduled call. It can be called a discovery call, clarity call, sales call.
Mhm.
And on that call is where the closer, which is something that David also does, will ask questions like, where are you at? Like, where do you want to be? Like,
Right.
and basically assess if the program or the course or the coaching can actually help them where they are get to the place where they want to be. And David is one of those people who has done very well, I would say, and I
Appreciate
think
you.
David would agree, in getting people to join programs that could essentially change their life. Would you agree with the way that I kind of framed it?
Yeah, 100%. And you also
Hmm.
have the phone calls as well for setters. So you have like
Yeah.
those two different types, the DM setting and the phone call. I was mainly doing phone call. I did
Okay.
DM setting for probably about 3 weeks, and then
Mm,
then I got my closing role.
mm. So you said that usually people that and just for context for everyone, so usually people will have their business that's already growing, already bringing in clients, and because this business owner or coach or whatever it is that is selling the product is unable to do all these other tasks, they hire somebody in order to have those conversations or to get on a sales call, etc. So you mentioned that it's known, or usually it takes a while for an appointment setter to get to a closing role. Can you elaborate on that? Like, why is that? Why do you think that's the case?
I never
What?
really knew why,
Mm,
but when I joined into the high ticket space initially, I was hearing, oh, you have to have at least 6 months experience as a
mm,
setter to finally move into the closing role, or
mm,
you need to have some type of experience in remote sales for people to want to hire you. Like, that's all I was hearing when I first joined. So
mm,
I didn't expect to fall into a closing role, September,
mm-hmm,
August, September, October, November, December, like really 4 months into being a setter. I didn't expect to
mm.
fall into a closing role that soon.
Yeah. Was it just offered to you? Like they were just like, "Hey, David, like we have this open." Like, what did that look like?
Bro, like, and this is what I mean by when I say God works in like mysterious ways.
Mm,
Like, I was a setter. I initially went to Austin, Texas for a networking event that they have out there. I met a
mm-hmm,
couple really cool guys in the space, and then through following them on Instagram, I found Tristan Steckler. Now, I
mm,
found his page. He was posting a lot of different videos about how to close and how to get prospects to commit to themselves. And I
yeah.
started relating to it. I was like, oh, this is really good. I started
Mm,
commenting on a couple of his videos, showing love.
mm-hmm,
He reached out to me because he
mm-hmm,
followed me back after I commented a couple times, saw
mm-hmm,
my story, saw that I was in Dallas, Texas, and he lives in
mm,
Dallas, or I think he
yeah.
moved to Austin recently. Um,
Mm,
Messaged me and was like, "Bro, we should go and get dinner sometime. You should come and meet my brother, my family."
mm,
And I was like, "Dude, there's no way this is real." And so
mm,
just off of my story, and so I ended up going and eat dinner with them, had a really good interaction with them, and
yeah.
then they invited me to their house a couple days later. And
Wow.
when I went there, bro, they were asking me questions about setting and asking me about my
Mm,
processes. And
mm-hmm,
then right then and there, right before I was about to leave, he was like, "Dude, do you want to become a closer?" I thought he was
mm,
playing, but he was being very serious. He was like, "No, I'm very serious. Like, I have an offer I can put you onto. Like, I love the way that you handle yourself. I feel like you do really well with this. You might
wow.
as well just try." And so I was like,
Yeah.
"You know what? Yeah, I'll try." And I was kind of nervous.
Mm,
That's how I got the opportunity, man. By the grace of God, dude, it's insane.
wow. So before we even get to, because I want to hear what your experience was like first starting out as a closer, because I know that's a whole story right there. What
Yeah.
were you doing before you even got into the online space? Like what, like where were you at, and how did you even hear about,
Oof.
this whole thing?
Dude, so I dropped out of college initially
Mm,
because I knew I wanted to do something different other than a regular 9 to 5.
mm,
As soon as I dropped out, I went and I did door-to-door sales. And so that was my
okay.
first initial stint in sales. Did that
Yeah.
in Jacksonville, Florida for a company called Vivint. And dude, it
Mm,
rains, it's hot. Like, it was the most
yeah.
insane weather I've ever experienced in my life. But like, I knew I
Yeah.
wanted something good for myself, so I was going to push through it.
Mm,
For 2 months, did really well, but didn't want to do it anymore. Came back
mm-hmm,
home, and my friend has a pressure washing business. So I was working with him
mm,
in grass. I was gutter cleaning, hopping on the biggest roofs you can imagine, bro. Like, putting
mm,
gutters, doing Christmas lights, anything you can imagine. I was hustling,
mm-hmm.
and so I was like, dude, you know what? I gotta figure something out because I ride motorcycles and stuff, and I wanted to
Yeah.
continue to have time to do what I wanted to do.
Right.
Dude, I went on YouTube. I was asking God to bring me something, like continue to. I'm thanking Him for what I had, but then I was
Mm-hmm.
asking for other opportunities as well.
Mm,
And dude, I came across this guy named Alex Bergstrom on YouTube.
mm,
He had a school course. It was like $99 a month, and I had maybe 300 and something dollars to my name. I didn't have much,
mm.
and I was afraid of investing into something because I didn't really know if I would get the money back, if it was a scam, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I was like,
Which is something that a lot of people think about, and I'm
exactly.
sure in your experience of closing, you've
It has
encountered
to.
that. Yeah.
Everybody deals with it, because we're all human. We're afraid of failure.
Right.
But then I was like, you know what? I serve a God who's bigger than the entire world, and He can give me anything I need. I just have to trust Him
Mm,
and put in the work.
mm,
You know what? I'm gonna try this. If it doesn't work, at least I tried. I
mm.
invested the $99 and I was in there for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't make any money, but I was
Mm,
learning the art of setting and I was learning how to read a
mm,
script and like, convey information.
Mm-hmm.
And after 3 months, I didn't make any money, so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna find something else. So
Hmm.
I left, bro. The next day after I left, he's like, bro, where did you go? Like, I have two really good offers for you that I can put you onto. And
Mm.
so he set me up with this interview with MetaTrading.ai. It was an
Mm.
algorithmic trading bot in this other company that I didn't even interview for because they hired me on the spot.
Mm.
And so I had my interview, and then that's how I branched into the high ticket sales space by taking a leap of faith. It was just
Mm.
unexpected.
And it was for phone call appointment setting.
Correct. That was my very first initial stint into high ticket sales with phone call appointment setting.
Okay. What was that like for you?
Dude, I knew I can speak very well. Like I knew I could articulate
Mm-hmm.
myself very well. And
Yeah.
so I tried to learn the script at first, and I was trying to read the script as I was talking to people, but then I quickly realized that conversations don't go the way that the script says it will.
Mm.
So I had to really change things up and learn
It's a
the
wake up
framework.
call.
It was a major wake up call because I would be like nervous, but I would be doing well, but I was nervous and I didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I learned the framework, and then I just started making it conversational. And then I started working
Mm.
a lot of appointments, dude. Like I was doing really well. Deals were closing. It was a
Nice.
$15,000 offer, but we were only getting paid like 2% or
Oh
like
man.
3%.
Yeah,
But it was still a blessing. Like it was money coming in, you know?
for sure. Oh, for sure. And for an offer that's 15K. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to a lot of millionaires, like smart people, because it's an algorithmic trading bot, and
Wow.
that's what enhanced my speaking skills, I would say.
Yeah.
So like I don't get nervous when I'm talking to anybody anymore.
Mm.
Even
Wow.
door to door sales too.
Yeah. So talk to me, because with sales, with appointment setting, with working for a company, right? And I know you're a man of God. You want to follow God's will. How do you discern in terms of like, I want to work for them or I don't want to work for them, right?
If
Talk to me
they're
about how you kind of process through that aspect of things, like selling on behalf of another person.
if they're getting people results, then I want to work
Mm-hmm.
with them because I
Mm.
don't want to. I put my full name on every call so people can look me up and
Mm.
know who I am. But dude,
Mm.
I don't want to work for somebody that's not getting people results because I know God isn't in it. You know.
Mm.
Yeah, our main goal is to just help people, dude. So I'm like, okay, if they're actually getting people results, if there's really testimonials and they're real, if they really stand on something and they believe in God as well, it's a
Yeah.
plus.
Mm. Got you. Yeah. No, dude, that's a good, kind of way to go about it, because I'm sure you already know, bro. In the online coaching space, you find everything. You
Sure you
find
do.
all kinds of people. There are people that really do scam,
Yeah,
and there are people that really do help. You know what I
exactly.
mean? And of course, do your research, understand, um, who the person is, what's their background, etc. But
Mhm.
I've never, asked that question to somebody from like your point of view, because you're not the person delivering the product necessarily, or the
Exactly.
coaching or whatever it is. So in order to, like, there has to be a level of conviction, right? When you're doing appointment setting or you're doing sales, like you have to believe what you're saying. You
You
know what I
do.
mean?
You do.
So I don't know if you could maybe speak to that a little bit, but like for somebody that wants to get into online appointment setting um or sales, and maybe they're like questioning, but like what if it's not something that I'm passionate about, or what if it's not like talk to that person right now. What would you say?
Well, if you're not passionate about high ticket sales, then honestly, I wouldn't even jump into it because, dude,
Mm.
it's very tough. Like you're dealing
Mm.
with actual people and you have to hear their problems. You have to basically console them and really see,
Mm.
the deeper issues than what they're just giving you surface level. So if you're not passionate about just talking to people, I would say, or like
Mm-hmm.
just engaging in good conversation, it's not for you. Now, it
Mm.
could become for you if you get into it and you try it and you're like, oh, it's not what I thought it was, but
Mm.
you need to go into it with the expectation of this is not going to be easy, but this is
Mm-hmm.
something that really can make you a lot of money if you get good at it and if you just
Yeah.
enhance the conversational skills. But
Mm-hmm.
for somebody that's just getting started out, honestly, learn the program that you're going to be working for because
Yeah.
these are going to be who you're representing and you're going to be bringing people onto their platform.
Yeah.
Learn the platform, make sure that it actually does help people. If
Mm.
there's really not a lot of ethics in business, but like there are really good businesses that practice really good ethics and get people results. So just do a lot of research into what you're jumping into.
That's good. That's good. So let's fast forward now to you get this closing role. You're now a high ticket salesperson
Yeah.
online. You get on a virtual call like this, right? On like a Zoom call, and you're talking to people and you're answering questions and or you're asking questions. Like, what did that talk to us about like your first month? Like, what did that look like? As
My
raw
first
and
month.
vulnerable as you're willing to be, because
Of
I
course, of
know
course.
I know even for me, like I mean, it's a struggle. It can be a struggle.
Yeah, dude, and I was just blessed to be in the position to where I was able to train with Tristan daily.
Mm,
Like he trained me every single day. And
mm,
the first, I was super nervous when I hopped on my first call. I didn't know how it was gonna go. I had my
mm-hmm,
pitch somewhat dialed, but I still had to read it a couple times. So I wear like glasses so that like, and I turned my screen
mm-hmm.
brightness down so people couldn't see the reflection. But it
Yeah.
went good. I closed my first deal. Like I closed my very first deal. It was like a $2,500 split pay, and
Mm-hmm,
I just remember being nervous, but like when they were answering my questions and like we were moving through it smoothly, I was like, oh shoot, like I actually can do this. Like I'm
mm,
getting good at doing this. Like I can really
mm,
succeed.
mm-hmm,
Um, it was nerve wracking because like sometimes I would ask questions that didn't even make sense to me, and they'd be like,
mm,
wait, what was the question? But I was so confident in it that they didn't even realize
mm,
that I made a mistake. They just thought they heard something wrong.
mm.
Dude, it was so nerve wracking. But then as I continuously put in more reps, I started getting more confident and starting to realize, like,
Yeah.
bro, I'm the leader. Like, they came to me looking for help.
Yeah.
But this was definitely nervous. It's nerve wracking at the start. Like, you're gonna
Mm,
question yourself. But dude, it's
mm-hmm.
been amazing since then.
What were some of those like limiting beliefs that you had to get over, and that once you like broke through those, like you just started to really, progress?
Closing is hard.
Mm,
Um, I'm not gonna be able to do the numbers that people think that I'm gonna be able to do because, like,
mm,
I wouldn't close every deal, obviously. And
yeah.
I would have those limiting beliefs of, man, like maybe I'm not as good as this as I thought. Maybe I got lucky at the start.
Mm,
Uh, maybe this isn't for me.
mm,
Maybe I'm gonna not live up to my expectations because for them to give me the opportunity like this,
mm,
I felt like there was so much on my shoulders for me to perform so I can prove them right
mm,
that I was starting to doubt myself when I didn't close. And
mm,
I had to revert back to, the way that I was thinking before, which was we serve a God that can give you anything. And just because things don't look the way that you want it to at the start, that
mm,
doesn't mean things can't go the way that you want it to, and the way that God has for you later on. But
mm,
the doubt was a huge one for me, like thinking that I
mm.
couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, this is good. And this is where we get real deep into like the psychology, of because sales is psychology, like at a
Yeah.
very deep level. Like sometimes I hear Tristan talk about certain things and I'm like, bro, I have a bachelor's in psychology and you know more than me. Because you've dealt with so many people and you've
Yeah,
dealt with so many um limiting beliefs and excuses and doubts and questions, and it's like in order to help people overcome their own self-doubt, their own uh questions and things of that nature, like it does require a deep understanding of human beings,
exactly.
so it's like even this skill, like I'm sure it's translated into your everyday life, right? And the
100%.
way that you interact with people, and
Yeah.
so yeah, man, that's good. So now, how long have you been? You said a couple, or how long have you been doing high ticket sales?
Appointment setting and closing
Yeah, yeah,
was since September of last year. So September of last
September.
year.
Okay, and then for closing specifically, how long have you been doing that?
This is my fifth month, so about 5 months now.
Fifth month. Yeah, and we have the same sales coach essentially. He's great, Tristan, and I follow him on Instagram, and I was just telling David this before we started recording. I see his story, and every single day I'm seeing David Leonty close the deal, David Leonty close the deal, David, and I'm like, man, no, you when you really lean into it, and maybe we can even talk about this because I think there's this expectation that you know high ticket sales or online entrepreneurship of any kind is easy, and it's just like, yo, quick buck, just like that. Like, talk to me about moments that maybe like you really questioned yourself, And have you considered like quitting? Like, have there been moments where you were just like, dude, I don't think this is for me?
Oh, for sure, dude. I had a week where I didn't get any deals until that Friday.
Mm,
And I was like, and I was grinding calls, bro. And it's like I kept running into these little issues with decision makers not being on the phone and them wanting to go talk to their partner about it. I was
mm-hmm,
like, bro, what am I doing? Like, there has to be
mm,
something else that's easier, than this.
mm,
I was doubting myself, dude. I remember sitting in this office and I even recorded it too because I was like, dude, this moment that I'm feeling right now, like I want to catch this on video so I can inspire
mm,
somebody else. Like, dude,
mm-hmm,
I would sit there and rewatch my calls and just be rubbing my face, like
mm,
upset because I'm like, dude, I'm not living up to my expectations, and I would consider
mm,
quitting often, but
mm-hmm,
that's just part of the game, bro. Like I considered quitting so many times, dude. Even to this
mm,
day, I still consider it at times because like some of these calls,
mm,
you think it's perfect, and then boom, they hit you with some type of objection.
mm,
Thought you covered.
mm-hmm.
I deal with it often, bro.
So what do you like? What does your self-talk look like? Like in like leaning towards the quitting, and
Hmm.
then how do you like? What is the self-talk that I guess kind of corrects you or keeps you on track of continuing?
God will never put you through more than you can bear, and I
Mm,
honestly believe that if it's hard, it's meant to be because most people would
mm,
just quit. Most people would stop. That's what
right.
keeps me going because it's like God has brought me so far, dude, with all of the different things that I've experienced. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way that He's not leading me to something amazing with all the hardships that I'm dealing with. So if I quit, I'll
Mm,
never know, you know?
mm, yeah. That's good, man. Yeah, it's oh man. I'm thinking about it like to go a whole week of grinding out calls and just nothing. Like
It's
just
tough,
dry.
man. It's tough.
Yeah, I bet. Because that's the thing about high ticket sales, right? High ticket sales is like you eat off of your commissions.
Exactly. 100%.
So how do you, because I hear this all the time, like don't give commission breath, or like don't give off this like air of like I need this sale in
Yeah.
order to like live or survive. How do you internally kind of navigate through that, knowing that no, actually, like I kind of do need this sale, but at the same time, like not communicating that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how do you go about that?
Because like at the end of the day, you're here to serve the client, like regardless of
Yes.
what outside problems you're dealing with, you have to still serve them because they don't care that you need to pay your bills. They're
Mm,
there to solve their own problems. So if you
mm,
approach every call like, okay, I'm gonna approach this call like I just got 10 deals in one day,
mm,
then when you need commission, you're gonna end up closing deals. Like it's just gonna come. Like they're eventually going to pop up, but you have to approach
mm,
every call the same, no matter what your outside influence is or what your outside situation is. Because then
mm.
you're gonna be needy and you're gonna be rushing through questions and you're gonna be like trying to get them to the pitch, and you
Yeah.
don't even get to discover what the objection could potentially even look like. And then
Mm,
now you're in more of a need because now you're not getting any sales for real. And then it's like,
mm,
okay, what do I do now?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, so what does that look like when you're in that maybe panic mode of
Oh,
like, dude,
keeping
I
your
haven't
composure.
closed. Say it again.
Keeping your composure, like still approaching
Mm-hmm,
each call the same. Like, yes, you're panicking, but like, dude, whether you're a man or a woman, like regardless, you still have to get things done. Like you can't
mm,
allow the panic and the worries to externalize to where other people are starting to see it and just see you as a salesman. You still need
mm.
to approach your job like it's your job?
Yeah, yeah, got you. Man, mastering your emotions, I think is like the real theme that I just keep hearing
Hmm.
from you, from Tristan, from the people that really succeed in the area of sales. Um, I want to ask you this because sometimes, and again, this is a limiting belief, and I don't know if maybe you encountered this at some point, but like sometimes Christians or religious people struggle with the idea of like being salesy or selling something, or like did you at any point struggle with that in terms of like because I'll share a little bit about my experience maybe for context, right? Because
Hmm.
initially when I first got into the online coaching space, I was helping Christians overcome pornography addiction. And I remember at first, a lot of people were like, bro, you're my brother in Christ. Why are you why are you charging me to help me break this addiction? Like, why are you, uh, you know, charging for something that should be freely given because this is spiritual work, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I had to process through it because I wanted to do this full time, right? And I was, thank God, because I was able to get clients in.
Hmm.
But I had to break through a limiting belief that was basically telling me, like, yeah, actually, why am I charging in order to serve people, or why am I charging in order to help people with something like this? So I'm curious what your thoughts are specifically from like a Christian worldview.
Hmm.
How do you reconcile that with like the world of sales?
Well, at the end of the day, God has put us in a position to where we can leverage our skill sets to actually help other people and charge them a fee for it. Because
Mm,
at the end of the day, we still need to make money. Like we
yeah,
still need to be able to pay our bills, and we're using up
yeah,
our time to actually help somebody. So
right.
I internalize it as, okay, if I'm learning the skill set that actually can help somebody overcome themselves and be a
Mm,
better person, and I'm using my time to do so, when I could
mm,
be working another job or doing something else to where
right,
they don't get any help,
right.
I'm going to make sure that I charge them something because it's an exchange of value. Like it has
Yeah.
to still be worth your time to still help this person out. Now, God
Mm-hmm.
has put us on this earth to serve others and actually help other people, accomplish their goals.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we're still using our time to help them because
Mm-hmm.
our bills don't care if we're just helping people out for free. You know,
Right.
we still have to put forth the time to provide for our families as well. And by helping that person, they're
Mm,
able to exchange something of value that they deem
mm-hmm.
less what's the word, Myron Gaines or Myron Golden says this,
Mm-hmm.
says they're exchanging something that they value a lot less than the outcome that they want, which is money,
Mm-hmm.
because they
Mm-hmm.
want to change their life and they see that their life change is worth a lot more than them exchanging maybe 3,000, 5,000, or even $7,000.
Mm,
So that's how I see it, because we're helping them essentially.
right. That's good. And I love how you're quoting Myron. Myron is actually, I hired him as a coach a couple of months ago. So I'm working with him, and that's a lot of limiting beliefs, bro. Especially as Christians in the world of business, I think.
Yeah.
Um, for me, because previous to this, I was serving in full-time ministry,
Hmm.
right? And from that standpoint, it's like, okay, like I'm getting my salary through, through tithe or through offering or whatever it is, being given to the church.
Hmm.
I don't have to go out and ask people, to support me financially, though that's something that is biblical as well, right? Like Paul
Right.
and all of the apostles, even Jesus had somebody funding his ministry so that he could do this full time. Because
Exactly.
like you said, the bills don't care if you're helping people for
Right.
free, right? I think we underestimate that. The only reason Jesus was able to do this full time and not have to go, to the carpentry workshop from 9 to 5, and then after you got off of work, go do ministry, is because there were people that did work, there were people that did charge, there were people that were entrepreneurs and business owners who willingly funded the ministry of Jesus and of Paul and of all these people. And even with
Exactly.
Paul, he got to a point where people were accusing him of like taking advantage of them financially, or like saying that they're just, that he was just using them for money. But
Hmm.
he got to a point where he's like, you know what, don't even give me your money, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna earn my living through tent making, so
Yeah.
that I am completely blameless in your sight, and so that you know that I'm not doing this for the money, right?
Mm.
So
Right.
that's the ministry side of things. But in terms of like just business in general and service in general, like there has to be money involved, because like you said, like we got to eat, we got to keep the lights on, we got to do all these things, we got to take care of our kids and our wives and our family. So this is, again, these are just a couple of thoughts for us to address those limiting beliefs that a lot of people do have, because I'm sure there's people that are going to listen, that are listening right now, that are maybe pastors, or maybe they're leaders of some kind, or just people that want to serve. Like if you genuinely want to help people, which is amazing, which is a good thing,
Hmm.
it's like, okay, now the next step is, how do you actually help people at a fuller capacity? instead of being, anchored down by the job that you're working, that maybe you're not walking in your purpose, you're not making an impact because you're stuck at a desk building up a company that maybe you don't fully believe in or is actually
Mhm.
against your values, right?
Exactly.
So this is why this online space, entrepreneurship, whether it's sales, whether it's starting your own company and coaching or services, like whatever it is, like this is your way to help people, like whether it's a side hustle or eventually maybe even full time, to help people, to a larger capacity. But it does require funding, not just to run the business, but also to pay yourself so that you can survive,
100%. I mean,
So,
it's really a skill set that not a lot of people have. I mean, think about
mm,
that. You're actually helping people shift their mindset. Like you have to know
mm,
how to get deep with people. You have to know how to actually get people to see the different picture that they don't see every day. Like
mm,
you should get compensated for acquiring such a skill to where you're
mm-hmm,
actually helping people change their outlook on life that can change
mm-hmm,
the whole trajectory of their family.
right,
I
right,
mean, why not get compensated for that? God has given you the ability to actually do so. So, I mean, you might as well do it
mm,
full time.
right. That's good. That's really good. So you mentioned a little bit about your company that you just started, right? Talk to us a little bit about that. When did that start,
Yeah.
and what kind of inspired that?
So that started 2 weeks ago. We're about to
Okay, fresh.
finally, yeah, very fresh. VAs are about to finish up their last week of training.
What is a VA? Just for those that don't know what a VA is.
Virtual assistant. So
Okay.
they're able to handle your day-to-day tasks, whatever your
Mm,
task could be in your business. That takes you
mm-hmm,
completely away from having to focus on doing that. So
mm-hmm,
in this case, my VA is going to be making phone calls out to commercial business owners,
mm,
residential owners as well.
mm-hmm,
And they're going to be calling in the leads,
mm-hmm,
letting them know exactly what the quotes are going to be for specific pricing that we're going to have
mm-hmm.
or specific services that we're going to fulfill on. Um, yeah, that's what really VAs are, just to be able to handle the small tasks that you won't have the time to do as the business owner.
Yeah, virtual assistant. That's good. So
Yeah.
what led you into this specific niche or this specific type of business? What was your thought process through that?
So I'm not risk averse. I mean, if it makes sense, I'll invest, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this guy on Instagram, and he was a young dude named Jaden Unn, and he was making him like $50,000 a month off of just having a remote cleaning business. He was going into a little bit of an explanation of how he was doing it. He was getting interviewed by somebody big on social media. I
Mm,
said, you know what? Like that seems like a business that would last for a very long time. People will always need cleaning services, so why not
100%.
try to jump into it and see how I can start my own business? And
Mm,
so I hit him up on Instagram, got into his curriculum. It's like
mm-hmm,
$4,000 to get into that, and then the rest is history. They
mm.
walked me through everything.
Wow. Gotcha. So you clearly believe in investing in yourself,
Oh,
right?
100%, dude. You have to, bro. Like
Yeah.
the skill set that we want is somebody else has it, and we have to pay them for the information.
Mm. So talk to me about that, because there are some people that are like, nah, bro, this stuff's a scam. I had somebody be like, well, they used to work, I think it's Amway, I think, and they were
Amway.
like, man, like, is what you're doing like Amway? Like, what are you trying to do? So like, because you said you dropped out of college, right? And that
Yeah.
was an intentional decision because you knew that wasn't the path you wanted to take.
Hmm.
So talk to me about your willingness to invest in coaching,
Hmm.
because it's an investment. It is an investment,
It
right?
is.
Um, versus, like, I guess the traditional route of college education. Like, how do you see the two, and what's like the main difference for you?
The main difference for me is, I mean, with college, I'm learning from somebody that doesn't have a business, that's just teaching
Mm,
me an outdated curriculum. Maybe there's some
mm,
things that are dated, but I mean, I'm not even learning from somebody that's actively doing the thing. Now,
mm,
with mentorship, you're learning from somebody that's actively doing the business, is
mm,
actually succeeding with it, and knows how to guide you and overcome all the obstacles that you could potentially deal with when starting
mm,
yourself. That's
mm-hmm.
the main difference that I've seen between the two. And you're paying so much more for school
Yeah, for
and not
college.
even have a guarantee of anything.
Yeah.
When you have a mentor who can at least guarantee you, if you follow the footsteps and what they tell you to do, you will at least get results.
Mm,
Because there's no jobs guaranteed after college unless you did an internship or something, which most
Right.
people don't. And they're
Mm-hmm.
charging you so much to where you're falling hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt when you
Yeah.
could be paying $5,000, $10,000 to a mentor
Yeah.
one time and then
Yeah.
completely change your life and grow a business.
Yeah. Oh man, that you said it so well. Like you just condensed it, bro, because yeah, I mean, a lot of my professors, so just for context, I have a bachelor's and a master's,
Mm-hmm.
and technically I'm not even using those. Like I've had experiences within my college experience that have shaped me for sure,
Yeah.
but I don't know if I can say that specific textbooks or classes have really been life shifting or life changing and not something that I could have found through ChatGPT or online on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like there's so much information now.
Yeah.
And even that's a conversation, right? Because now that AI is like really coming in hot, like information is not out of our reach
At all.
at all.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing from a lot of coaches and a lot of people online, like business owners, like the market for information is slowly going to dwindle because
Mm,
we don't need to buy more information. What we need to buy is accountability and mentorship,
exactly.
right? A person that will actually walk with you
Mm-hmm.
to help you to implement, to help you to give you feedback, to help you to actually make it happen in a concrete way versus just having information. Again, information, dude, you can ask ChatGPT and it'll give you all the answers like
Yeah.
to whatever. Instead of reading all these pages in the textbook, it's like, yo, tell me the main points in this book that I need to know in order to get to XYZ.
Right.
You know
Get
what I
you down
mean?
to like one sentence. And it will
Yeah.
actually do it too, you know?
Yeah.
But like you said, dude, I mean, you can get all the information in the world, but if you're not being held accountable and you don't have a roadmap or a path built out for you, you're not going to know where to
Yeah.
start. You're just going to be filled
Right.
with information.
Right. So I've just been seeing a lot of posts recently, and I have a feeling that we're gonna look back on this podcast recording years, like maybe like 2, 5 years down the line, and we're gonna be like, bro, we were on the verge of this whole thing happening, and
I
we
know,
were
bro.
talking about it because it's real.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
real, you know, and you know, in the coaching space, in um, you know, the education space, quote unquote, in general, whether it's college or whether it's online coaching, like the value really is going to be in the connection between human to human
Right.
and the relationship and again the accountability, the feedback, things of that nature.
Exactly.
Because bro, information can be found anywhere for free.
Literally
So
anywhere. YouTube University.
YouTube University, literally. So yeah, man. So you've joined this coaching program, launched your business, and I definitely am looking forward to hearing more in the future. To hear how things are going, you know, and checking in. And thank you for being vulnerable, bro.
Of
Because like
course.
on this pod, like we're not trying to show off like a polished, you know, commercialized version of what online entrepreneurship is. It's not like there are struggles. There are moments where you have a failed business. Like
Hmm.
there are moments where um you pivot into something completely different, right?
Yeah.
There are moments where, yo, I recognize that I'm doing this thing for a season, but this is not where I'm gonna stay ultimately. Like this is
Amen.
a bridge to get to something else,
Exactly.
right? And I think this is where it's important, especially again, now talking as like followers of Jesus, like believers in God, that we need to go where God is calling us to be, you know. And
Okay.
I want to ask you this too because making money is great, right?
Hmm.
Let's just we're
Oh,
gonna
it's
leave that out on the
better than great.
table. Everybody knows this. Making money is awesome, and it allows you to again to have your needs met. Um, like what has earning more, right, compared to maybe what you were doing previous to being in this space? Like what has the income allowed you to do that maybe you weren't able to do previously?
Oh, invest. 100% invest, bro. Like invest into a business, invest into
Mm-hmm.
sharpening skill sets and
Mm-hmm.
networking groups. Like,
Mm.
dude, I've always asked God to put me in positions to where I can do these things, and now that I'm making
Mm,
money, I'm taking it and I'm putting it directly into investments. But
mm,
it also makes me feel more like a man because like I'm
mm,
actually like I have a girlfriend. I'm able to take
mm,
her out to nice dinners. I'm able to take my parents out to a nice dinner, pay for my mom's
mm,
flight to Trinidad and Tobago. Like
mm,
it makes me feel like a man, and it allows me to be
mm.
able to invest more, which is what anybody should be doing.
Yeah. I'm reminded of I think it's Alex Hormozy. For those who don't know, he's a business guru in the
Oh,
business space, and he says that the greatest investment you can make is into the S&Me 500.
that's in me.
And that's a play
It's
on
true though.
words for the S&P 500. Some of y'all
Yeah,
know the index fund that is one of the most consistent stocks that have been going up without fail just over the
right,
course of however many years. Um, it's basically a bulletproof stock. But with Alex, what he's saying with that phrase is when you invest in yourself, you are investing into the one thing that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life.
right.
And that's you.
That's facts.
Every room that you step into, every podcast that you get invited onto, every stage that you get invited to speak into, every call that you take with a potential client or just person in the grocery store that you have a conversation with, all the things that you invest into yourself, you take with you everywhere you go.
Exactly.
And I think like there's a lack of value that we have for ourselves. And I think for that reason, so many people are afraid to take the risk to
Yeah.
invest in themselves,
Oh,
right?
that's good.
We all do it though,
Value.
right? Like everybody invests, whether it's in college, right? The traditional route that's laid out. But the thing is, and again, I'm talking as somebody who has a bachelor's and a master's degree. Like I've gone through it. Like I almost got into a doctorate program, like that I was about to apply to, that I was thinking about. When you like, I can't honestly say that those programs and those curriculums have changed my life. I honestly can't say that. What I can say is that investing into a coach in a specific area that I want to excel in a specific area that I'm struggling in, and I want to get to the place where they are, I have found that the things that I've learned in these mentorships, in these contexts, actually give me concrete things that I can take with me.
Exactly.
A lot of these courses, a lot of, and I'm not saying this is the case for every course, right? Or for every college degree, right?
Mhm.
Like there are some college degrees where you have to, in order to become a doctor and do surgery, like you better get into that medical school, because I ain't hopping
Exactly.
on no table that somebody got into a online mentorship learning how to do surgery. Like
Facts.
you know what I mean? So there are
Yeah.
some fields that you have to, right? 100%.
Yeah.
We're not discounting that, right? Whether it's nursing or being a doctor, or there are just certain fields like that.
Mhm.
But honestly, a lot of people are not in those fields. A lot of people, and maybe it's a reach to say the majority, but I'll just say a lot of people go to college, they study something that maybe they like and they're passionate about, and they think they want to do, and they get out of college and they're just like, hands are empty, no job, probably end up working a job that is not at all aligned with the degree that they got.
Yep.
And now drowning in debt that you're probably going to be paying off for the rest of your life if you decide to even pay it off. Because some people just say, I'm going to just die with this debt.
That's true though. They really
Because
do.
it's a lot.
Yeah. Dude, it gets to like over $100,000, and it's like, bro, I thought life would be completely different than this. Like I thought I would
Mm,
have a job that would pay me enough to be able to pay off the debt.
mm,
Man, it's insane, man.
mm-hmm. So this is all to say that coaching, and again, do your research. Find somebody that's doing the thing. Have conversations with them or their team. Testimonials are always a good thing
Hmm.
for them to have, for you to know, like, okay, like they've done it for themselves, they've also done it for others, at the very least, if they've done it for themselves, then there's some credibility already.
Right.
But like, and this is no disrespect to people, but if somebody claims to be a fitness coach and they're overweight, come on. Like you don't even need to look in that direction. Like, I'm not even knocking that person. Like, shout out to them. They're trying to make a difference in people's lives and trying to, do good and build a business. But if like you have to at the very least see that the person that you're being mentored by is living the life or in the thing that you yourself want to do.
Exactly.
Right? Like, being strict with the advice that you take and the information that you allow yourself to take in. Dude, only take advice from people who are in a place where you want to be.
Exactly.
You know?
100%. Yeah, because
And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's, I mean, like you said, if it's somebody that's overweight and they're trying to teach people how to get in shape, I mean, there's some people that are really doing that still and still somehow getting clients. I mean, there's people that are teaching people a business that they've never even started, and they have fake testimonials and all this other stuff. That's why research is important. That also leads to a lot of people saying, this might be a scam. There's this, that. But yeah, you need to do your research for sure to know exactly who it is that you're following.
Yeah. Yeah. Do research. Again, have interactions, like, and I think this is why people like, and this as a closer, the people that have no objections on a sales call are the people that have probably consumed the most content.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Right?
It's either that or you handle their objections so well at the beginning to where they don't have anything else to say at the end.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But build trust, right? So like, if you're looking to hire a coach or hire a mentor, watch their content, find out who they are, find out what they're doing, find out what they've done, right? So that you can know, because especially when it comes to like YouTube or long form content, because people can't hide who they are. Right. On a long, some people say, and this isn't to get into politics or anything, but people that study political science and study this last election, they say that the reason that Donald Trump won the election is because he was willing to get onto platforms where he was being interviewed on long form content without any editing, without any polishing, and it really just demonstrated who he was.
Yeah, dude, I saw a lot of podcasts with him on there with like huge brands, like huge people like Nelk, just name a couple.
Yeah, Joe dude, Rogan was another one.
Rogan is a huge one. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hide who you are. I agree with that. Like, they're going to ask you questions and stuff, and you have to be exactly who you are.
Exactly. So I think that's like the time that we're leaning into, and we're already in, is a time of like authenticity breeds trust.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the big promises anymore. It's not about the big talk, the nice articulate. Like, it's truly demonstrating, yo, this is who I am, whether you like it or not. Like, you can take it or leave it. You can come with me or not, but ultimately this is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Trump. A lot of people don't like him, but also he has a lot of super fans.
He does.
Because he demonstrates who he is.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to, and again, I don't know what the marketing or what the plan was for the campaign of Kamala Harris was, but some people said, yo, I don't really know who she is. I don't really know what she stands for. Like, she has these shorter interviews, but like, I haven't seen her do a 3-hour interview and like really just put it all out on the table. So yeah, man, that's to say, and I'm sure you enjoy this as a closer, that when somebody comes in and they're just like, yo, here, take my money, let's go. It's probably the best feeling for you. You're just probably like, you sure you got no objections? Like,
right? It's almost like, and I wish I had those, bro. Like, some of them are like B2B, which is obviously easier to close, and they're like,
what is B2B for those that don't know?
So business to business. So like,
yeah.
B2C would be business to consumer. So B2B, business to business, would be more of a logistical sale. Like, they're not afraid to take risks. They've either already started the business and they're just not making the numbers that they want, and they need some additional help in a specific area. So you have to kind of dig a little deep with them to see what their problems are and how that's affecting them, so that they're like, oh, he actually cares and he really wants to help my business grow. Now
Mm-hmm.
B2C is a much longer sale, dude. Like, because you're already
Mm,
a person who hasn't took a risk yet. You know?
mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
I like a lot of B2B. It's a lot easier of a sale. It just has to
I
make sense.
bet. Yeah, B2C, it's especially if you're trying to get them into a business, right? Like
Yeah.
trying to get them into launching their own business or into a certain field of work. There's a lot of overcoming of limiting beliefs that
Yes.
have to take place
A
in
lot.
order to get them to that place. And
Yeah.
I'm curious for you, right? Because in a way that is serving the person.
Oh, it for sure is serving the person and 100% serving the person because they've never been respectfully slapped in the face before to be woken up to
Mm,
your reality. Like, if
mm,
you keep thinking the way that you're thinking and you keep doing things the way that you've been doing it for the longest time
mm,
and not taking any risks and not trying something else, do you honestly think that anything different is going to happen in your life and that you're going to be out of the situation that you're currently in? And
mm,
obviously, by that point, you dig deep enough to where they're able
mm-hmm,
to tell you everything and how it's affecting them. And
mm,
then you get them to see, like, look at what you've been doing and look at what you want to do. Do you think
mm,
you're doing this thing that you're going to get there? So
mm-hmm,
they haven't been, told that because nobody has cared enough to ask them all these questions and really get deep with them like this.
mm. Wow. Yeah. So in a way, being in high ticket remote sales, it's you're almost a coach in a way. Would you
Yeah,
say?
I'd say what is it called? A therapist almost,
Mm,
like a counselor. Yeah,
mm,
because like you're getting them to see and dig deep into like their emotions and how their life is really affecting them and how it's affecting the people around them with the
mm,
strength that they have. Like
mm-hmm,
you're I, Tristan likes to call it a late night DJ voice. You're using that to really get them to open up,
mm,
because it's like, bro, you're really digging deep with people. They're saying things to you that they wouldn't normally tell anybody. Like, and they're starting
mm,
to realize things as they're telling you this. Like, as you're asking
yeah,
them, you're like, wow, I never really thought about it this way. Like, dude, I made a guy
yeah,
cry for the first time last
mm,
week. I think it was Wednesday, like right before I went to Arizona. I made him
wow,
cry on the call because I got him to really dig deep into why he wants to make this change happen. Like, who is it affecting that he's not doing it? Like, and
wow,
it almost made me emotional because I'm looking at him and I'm like, wow, like he's never really thought about this before. Like, this is something that's completely different to him, and I was able to bring it
wow,
out of him. So it's life changing, man. It's awesome to be in that position to actually help people change their lives and make different decisions to better themselves.
mm. That's deep, bro. That's
It
really
is.
deep. And you're reminding me of sales calls that I was taking when I was doing my porn addiction recovery offer. And the amount of people that would get on those calls that have been struggling with this addiction for 20, 30 plus years and saying that, they watch it every day, but it's not that bad.
Wow. They
And
became
I
numb
sit
to
with
it.
them and I'm like, no, 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 hold on, let's pause. Like, you're saying you've been struggling with this for 30 plus years and you watch this every day and you're saying it's not that bad? Like, let's just process that for a second. Like, who else is like your new norm, your new baseline of life is so low that it has become normalized. Like, there's so much more to life than this. Like, your
Yep.
brain isn't even like working at its full capacity because of this addiction. It's robbing you of life.
Exactly.
And I would take people through that, bro, and they would come to a place where they're just like, man, please just help me. Like, please just, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I need to do, but just help. And it's deep work, man.
It is. And it's kind of scary that people become so numb to that type of stuff. Because it's almost
Mm,
like, when you're getting separated from God, the sins that you commit and the things that you do, it's almost like you're numb to it. You don't even feel bad
mm-hmm,
anymore. Dude, I
mm-hmm,
remember, and since we're being vulnerable, I remember
mm-hmm,
when I was younger, I used to, choke the chicken when I was younger. And
mm,
I did it so much and I was watching porn and stuff to where I didn't even feel bad anymore because I used to feel horrible when I was done.
Mm,
I wouldn't even feel bad anymore when I was done doing it. I was just be like, oh, that's just what it is.
mm,
I had to bring myself back to God to start realizing, like, dude, what I'm doing is not it. Like this.
mhm,
Then I started feeling bad when I would slip up and do it again, and then that just completely alleviated from my life because I'm like, I'm not getting any closer to God doing these things, and I'm more aware of the sins that
mm,
I'm committing, and I'm no longer numb to it. So it's crazy when you
mhm.
say that, like 30 years of watching porn and like just it's everyday thing, like it's just
Yeah,
normal. That's scary, bro. It's a scary place to be.
yeah. So truly, right? Like this online sales stuff, like the goal and the heart intent that it's supposed to be is to genuinely serve people.
Yeah,
There are some people, unfortunately, that are out here just trying to get a quick buck.
yeah,
100%. I hate to say it, because I love this space and I love, the potential of it and what impact can be made through it.
yeah,
But there are people that are here truly scamming people.
yeah.
And there are many people that are out here genuinely providing life-changing transformation that you can't find anywhere.
Exactly.
You can't go to the doctor's office and say, "Hey, doc, I'm struggling with porn addiction. Like, help me to break free."
You can't.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
actually can't. And it's like, where else would you go? Like, you can. People don't even know how to go to it like just straight to God and like ask him for help. They don't even know how to
Mm-hmm.
do that because they think God is going to be like, okay, you're healed or something.
Mm,
Has to be people that is able to guide them, that God obviously has put them in a position to do so, that's able
mm,
to actually help them. Because
mm-hmm.
it's far deeper than you just putting the phone down and stopping, because you're always going to have the urge to try to pick it up and do it again, you know?
Mm. Yeah.
That's
The
crazy.
community, the mentorship, all of that requires a space that is very intentionally curated for that,
Hmm.
right? And the only space that I've ever seen something like this, because I wasn't the first one to do it. There are others that have a similar coaching
Yeah.
program, and this is the only space that I've seen it done. In the online entrepreneurial online coaching space.
Yeah.
And again, there's really no limit to what you can do in this space.
At all.
Like, yeah.
Dude, you can sell like I see somebody that's doing an online coaching program, and it's for like motorcycle wheelies. Like you can do anything in the online space, and it
Wow.
goes back to the point you said earlier. Like I've never heard of a porn recovery coach or an
Mhm.
addiction coach before until I got into this space. I mean, you can do
Mhm.
anything in this space.
Yeah. Even learn how to do wheelies.
And I'm telling you, dude, it surprised the hell out of me to see that, bro.
Did you end up joining or
Oh
not?
no, no, no. The bike has been up right
There's no
now.
shame if you did, bro. It's all good.
Man, I feel like learning. I'm gonna have to learn like a Grom
Uh,
first before I hop into that. But yeah, bro, that's even a thing, and that's what shocked me too.
yeah. But like, the point is any need that you have or anything that you're trying to learn or trying to overcome or trying to grow in your life, right?
Mhm.
And usually it's in one of three categories. Usually it's in health, wealth, or relationships are like the three broad
Yeah,
categories, right?
yeah,
Health being anything from um physical health, like lose 30 pounds in 6 months or lose 30 and keep it off, right?
hmm,
Or mental health, right? How to overcome your anxiety once and for all,
mm,
because sometimes the mental health space isn't, the most effective, unfortunately. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And
yeah,
I know of anxiety coaches that actually do get results for their clients, right?
hmm,
Um, Wealth. I mean, this is something that we know about, right? Like investing into a mentorship of some kind to learn a skill in
yeah,
order to make more money, whether it's sales, whether it's learning how to become an online coach, whether it's learning how to sell products on Amazon, like whatever it is, right? There's different ones for wealth and for relationships, right? How
yeah,
to restore your marriage that's on the brink of divorce,
yeah.
how to I know even there are coaches that are matchmaking coaches
I
that are
know,
like,
dude. That's crazy to me too. You
which
know?
is insane. But there are
Yeah,
people that actually go through with it and they actually end up getting a happy marriage and relationship. And it's like,
yeah,
wow, like you can pay a coach or a mentor to literally find you a good fit for marriage. and
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's your choice if you want to go into that marriage or not. But the
Right.
fact that there's somebody there that can help you in that process is insane.
It is.
So there's no limit, um, in terms of just anything, man. Just online entrepreneurship, the reach that you can have is not limited to geographic location anymore.
Yeah.
Like this video that you're watching, I mean, we're both in Texas currently, right? You're in Dallas, I'm in Austin, and somebody from a different country, you might be in a different country or a different state and you're watching this. Like there's no limit to the reach that you can have, for good, for impact, and also grow a business that can allow you to do this potentially full time.
Exactly.
So, David, I don't know if you have any final thoughts, anything that you want to share with somebody that's thinking about uh, getting into the online entrepreneurial space. Like, what would you want to say to somebody that's considering this?
Start it. Like,
Mm,
if you have a skill set that you know you're good at and you can leverage it to help other people and make money, because I'm telling you, the money is a byproduct of you helping other people. You help
mm,
people, it's gonna come in. I'm telling you, it's
mm,
gonna roll in. It's gonna be hard at the start,
mm,
but you'll never know what you can do until you start. So
mm,
it is a blessing that you're actually doing this podcast, Chris, because
mm.
people need to hear these types of things.
Yeah.
They're too afraid to take a leap of faith into something that's solely based off of their own efforts. They just want to stay
Mm,
stuck in a job that's going to keep them stuck. So
mm-hmm.
get off the fence, invest
Yeah.
into yourself, invest into your skill sets, and believe that you
Mm-hmm.
actually achieve what you can achieve, because
Mm,
God gives all of us the ability to do so. Do not
yeah.
hold yourself back.
That's so good. That's so good. And something I want to just say off of what you just said, invest in yourself, invest in your skill set. Some people think that if you join a mentorship program, you're investing into the coach or into the mentor. You're
Hmm.
not. You're investing into yourself
Yeah,
through them,
exactly.
right? You're the one that's going to walk away with the skills. You're going to be the one to walk away with the ability to do the thing that you're trying to do,
Exactly.
right?
Because a lot of people
So,
think, oh, my bad, go ahead.
no, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, a lot of people think that just because they invest into a mentor or coach, that it's just automatically going to happen, when you're
Mm,
the one that has to put in the work and actually take the steps towards acquiring the skill
mm,
and utilizing the mentorship.
yeah. And that's good too. And I love something that Tristan says. He says, every diet works.
Yep. Every diet works.
Every diet works. Every diet has a caloric deficit where you
Mhm.
are burning more or using more calories than you are consuming,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's the carnivore diet, whether it's a plant-based diet, whether it's a keto or whatever it is, the thing that makes the difference is that you actually are implementing what you're learning. You're actually doing the work, right? The mentor, the coach is not doing the work for you.
Right.
The mentor, the coach is there to walk with you, to encourage you, to hold you accountable, but you are the one that needs to put in the work, right? God has given us free will. If not even God will force us to do something, like he allows us to make free will decisions, then why do we think that a mentor or a coach is going to force us in order to get a result or whatever it is? We have to already have that drive and that desire, but what's needed is to actually take that leap of faith and to go all in.
All in. I like how you say that. Burn the boats. I've heard that
Burn the
a lot
boats.
of times, man.
No way off the island.
Exactly. You have to give yourself no ultimatums, because I'm telling you, you're gonna have the urge to want to go back, and you
Mm,
have to make sure that you obviously not burn bridges, but like you can't give yourself that out, because you're gonna want
mm,
to take it, and you might just take that out and not see
mm,
what God has for you.
mm.
It's crazy, man.
That's it. That's it. David, thank you so much, bro, for your time, for being here, for sharing about your experience and being vulnerable. Again, not coming up and showing like, yo, we got this all figured out, but
Yeah,
it's like, yo, we're on the journey. We're on the journey, just like everybody else.
of course.
So, all it is just being a few steps ahead and sharing, the insights and the things that you've learned. So thank you, bro, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for sticking with us, and we will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace out.
Peace.